Part 2. Verdant Wind. Pegasus Moon. Valley of Torment. Having repelled the Imperial Vanguard, the Alliance Army requests reinforcements from Judith, head of House Daphno, the governing body in the northwestern regions of Alliance territory.
What? Not enough left for seconds? I'm barely half full! I can't grow if I can't eat.
I have some good news for my hungry friends. We got a reply from Judith. Mr. Leaderman has called a meeting about it. Hurry up, everyone.
We finally received a reply from Judith. The hero of Daphne has agreed to support us with soldiers and supplies.
She's gonna give us food? She really is a hero!
Now, regarding where we're going to receive the delivery...
As this is a request from none other than the leader of the Alliance, I wish that I could send troops at once. However, openly marshaling soldiers within my territory could provoke other members of the Alliance. Therefore, I will secretly gather troops in Aelel, the Valley of Torment. Will your group be able to receive the soldiers at this location? From there, it should be safe to return to the monastery by following the border between the Alliance and the Kingdom.
Aelel is on the border between Daphne territory and the Kingdom. It'll make sense when we get there, but it's a peculiar region.
I recall there being a scary legend about it.
In any case, if we use that valley, we shouldn't have to worry about being noticed by other Alliance lords.
Aelel, the Valley of Torment.
How incredible. What a striking color. Ah, Professor, look at this stone. Such a brilliant blue. You don't normally find stones like this around here. I ought to grind it down. I wonder if it would still be the same color. To make pigment for my art. Good supplies don't come cheap. I prefer to make my own. Blue is especially expensive. How fortunate that I chanced upon this remarkable blueness. Oh, I'm sorry. There I go again, blathering on and on about painting. Oh, yes. But I know that I can get rather caught up in it and, enthusiastic. You know, Professor, no matter how impassioned I become about my art, you never hold it against me. One could argue that I'm better off preparing for our next battle. I am becoming a knight. Oh, Professor, please don't say things like that. I gave up on my artistic dreams long ago. To support my family, I will be a knight. That's that. No. I know it's the right thing to do. I'll continue with my art as a hobby. I don't think I could ever give it up. When I see something beautiful, I can't suppress the urge to paint it. I don't have a choice. And if my art can bring happiness to even one person, that's good enough for me. Professor, I have a favor to ask. I'm painting a portrait right now. When it's finished, I'd like to give the piece to you. Would you take it? Perhaps it can bring you a little happiness. That will have made the effort well worth it. Oh, excellent! Is that a promise? Because I'm really going to put my heart in it. That is, I'm going to enjoy partaking in this casual hobby of mine.
What is it, Marianne?
I'm curious why you've been eating your meals near me as of late. I'm not much for conversation. I'm always always at a loss for words, and I never know how to respond to questions.
Well, it's true that there are some who prefer a lively dinner table, but I prefer to eat in peace. With you, my meals are a relaxing experience. In fact, you're the most peaceful dining companion I've ever had.
Really?
There is a real grace and fluidity to your every movement. I greatly appreciate refined table manners. Observing you all this time, I believe I've realized what is so striking about you. Your beauty comes from the heart. It is an inner beauty. It is not some flamboyant pageantry, a product of external adornment or grooming. When I first noticed it, I thought that it could use some refinement, a little polish. But I was mistaken. You are perfect in your natural state, just as you are.
You think I'm beautiful? Just the way I am?
Certainly. To add a superficial luster on top of what you already possess would be offensively redundant.
No one's ever said anything like that to me before.
Alas, I am the only one with eyes. But perhaps it is for the best that your beauty not be revealed to all the world. Yes, it is certainly better that only I, Lawrence Hellman Gloucester, can appreciate your true magnificence. And on that note, I bid you farewell.
What a strange person. But being called beautiful just the way I am, that was nice to hear.
Hey, Lysithea. I'm glad I found you.
What's up, Cyril?
Could you read something for me again?
Looks like it's another shopping list. I'm happy to help you out. Did you try looking it over yourself yet?
What's the use? I told you I can't read.
Have a look here. Any of these letters look familiar?
Huh? This one? Was that apples? So it says 3 apples?
Yes, you got it! See? You can do it!
I wonder if there's anything else I can recognize. Let's see.
It's clear you've got a sharp memory. If you apply yourself, you'll be reading in no time. Reading is such an important skill. Once you learn, you won't forget. And I won't be around to read things for you forever.
Lysithea?
Anyway, don't you enjoy learning? It seems like you haven't even thought of trying prior to this. Do you simply not have time for it?
Until now, I never thought about how to learn. And since I was hiding it, I never asked anybody. But right now, I feel like I'd be happy to live like this for a little bit longer.
It seems like a hassle at this point not to learn, so you may as well start putting in the work.
Well, I like having you read things to me.
You do?
Yeah, you always seem happy when I ask you to read things. And when you're happy, you smile. I think you're pretty when you smile. I bet you everyone tells you that though, huh?
As a matter of fact, they haven't. Stop messing with me.
Hang on a second. Am I the only one who's seen you make that face? Is that why nobody's told you?
Excuse you? I mean, honestly.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go take care of this errand for the professor. I'll see you later, Lysithea.
Don't expect me to read for you again. And, just take care of yourself, will you?
You know, I'd never have been recognized as the legitimate heir to House Regan without Judith's recommendation. Feels like I'm digging myself deeper and deeper in debt to the hero of Daphnel, but what do? It's all been worth it. After all, we need the Daphnel army for our next move. It's possible we'll have to deal with our enemies sooner than later. Be prepared, Teach.
My big brother told me stories of Judith's bravery. With just one look, she tamed a runaway horse that nobody else had been able to touch. When an Almiran general provoked her, she talked him into a tearful apology. She's spectacular. I wish she'd fight alongside us.
Valley of Torment. Valley of Torment. I once read a book full of legends surrounding ALL, but I can't seem to remember.
The bridge that links Alliance and Empire lands is currently under the occupation of the Imperial Army. In other words, the Empire can choose to invade the Alliance whenever they wish. I want you to understand that my father does not support the Empire to antagonize House Regan. He does it to deprive them of an easy excuse to cross that bridge.
ALL, the Valley of Torment, lies on the border of 3 noble territories. The kingdom's Fraldarius and Galatea families, and the Alliance's Daphno family. In the Fraldarius lands to the north, the former Kingdom Army and New Duke's Army are fighting.
Sharing her food with us for nothing in return? Judith really is a great person. She's more like a goddess than the goddess is. No? Well, she could be a demon for all I care, so long as she feeds me.
You're not a teacher anymore, and we're not your students, but everyone still calls you Professor. Is there something you'd rather be called? Guess that's what we're used to, huh? All right.
The Valley of Torment. I'd heard of it, but I never expected to go there. It's exciting. I wonder what the landscape is like. It probably is dangerous, but I still want to get there and see it as soon as I can.
It has been only 5 years, yet so much has changed. Half of the kingdom has fallen to the Empire. Skirmishes are rife throughout the Alliance. Despite such tumult, we look upon the same sky, unchanged by the storm happening beneath it. Yes, it would be nice, I suppose. Things were simpler then. Or so they seemed to be at the time.
The Valley of Torment, huh? I see your angle, but don't let your guard down. Any movement about their borders, and the Lords of the Kingdom will react swiftly. Don't underestimate them. Keep your focus on a positive outcome. There's a lot to gain and a lot to lose.
The Valley of Torment. Isn't that the place where it's scorching hot year-round? You know, I've always wanted to see the world. That's why I left my village. And here I am, traveling to all these interesting new places to kill people. Not what I had in mind. Maybe I'll find some time to admire the scenery. Though people might get mad I'm not taking this silly war seriously. Oops, that was close. Almost sighed.
So you intend to march into ALL? Frankly, I want no part of it. Surely such an uneventful journey won't require my presence. And miss my share of the glory? Unacceptable. Though I would ask that we at least consider marching only under cover of night.
So, Judith is on our side now. That right? Haven't seen that lady in years. These days, people call her a hero. Back then, I just called her a catch and a half. If only. No, I was a kid at the time. But she still managed to catch my eye. She was the second loveliest lady in all of Fodlan. Who's the first, you ask? That's my little secret.
Hey, Professor. I think you've been working too much lately. The battle's gonna keep going with or without you, but you're the one doing the most out there. It's real impressive how you can focus on giving orders and fighting. I don't think I could do both in the same battle. I see you running all over the place, even after the battle's over. I just don't want you to wear yourself out. Oh yeah? As soon as you say you're fine, that's when it hits you. No offense, Professor, but don't you think some folks might be taking advantage of you? Claude keeps asking you to do things, but you never say no. Like when you gave that speech to the troops. That didn't seem like something you wanted to do. I know you gotta follow orders on the battlefield, but you shouldn't have to do things off the battlefield if you don't wanna. What do you mean? Like studying? Sure, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but that was to keep my little sis fed. I had good reason for it. The same, huh? I think I get what you mean. You do things you don't want to do for the sake of everyone else. That's real noble of you, Professor. I guess I can't get in your way if you're doing it for the right reasons. Okay then. I'm gonna keep trying to do my best. But now, I'm gonna do it for you. My little sis is important to me. But you're real important too. I always work hard for the people who matter to me. And having more of them in my life just means I gotta work even harder. What do you think? Really? I wasn't expecting you to say that. You're gonna make me blush. We gotta keep working hard together then. At least until this war's over. I'll work to make sure you don't collapse from exhaustion. You got nothing to worry about, Professor. I've been training non-stop. I got your back, no matter what.
Nice to see you, Yurikins. I was wondering if you might do me a favor.
You're looking a bit serious, Ladybird. Oh, your foot. What happened?
It's healing nicely, but I'm not supposed to put too much weight on it.
Ah, so that's why you've called me here. What do you need? Help with errands?
Not an errand, an opera.
I see.
There's been some loose plans for a performance. Nothing professional, strictly volunteer. I signed up to take part as one of the main roles. And then this happened. The professor told me I should bow out just to be on the safe side.
Makes sense to stay off your feet while you heal. Meanwhile, you want me to fill your role, right?
Got it in one. I'm glad we're on the same page here.
Surely someone else is up to the task. Professor Manuela, for example.
Already tried. Trust me, I wouldn't ask unless I was desperate. I knew how much you'd hate the idea.
Aside from hating it, I also wouldn't remotely sound like you do.
Oh, don't worry about that. Most of our audience won't be able to tell the difference. The crowd's going to be a bunch of survivors and war orphans, not your usual connoisseurs. I'm only talking about a small festival in the plaza. We want to give them a good show, that's all. You have an idea of what they've been through. I thought you might want to pitch in.
I hear your angle. Fine, yes, I'll do it.
Good for you. I knew you'd rise to the occasion.
You certainly know how to pull heartstrings to get your way, don't you? Where did you learn to do that anyway? The opera?
Could be. I've never known a songstress who wasn't both beautiful and resourceful. Now, are you ready to go over the libretto? You've got a lot of rehearsing to do before the performance. Seriously, though. Thanks, Yurikins.
Yeah.
Whoa! Easy there, big guy! I'm fragile, you know.
Stand back, Hilda. I've got this.
Whew! Thanks for the help, Balti. Are you okay?
Want this? It's nothing. Oh!
Ouch! You didn't have to do that, you know. I didn't ask you to get yourself beaten up. If I thought I might have to break a sweat, I'd have gotten out of there myself.
I know, but I can't help but worry when I see you in a tight spot. Holst told me to keep an eye on you and all. It's the least I can do.
Huh. I didn't realize you were still in touch with my brother.
No, this was ages ago. Told me if anything happened to him, it was up to me to look after you.
What could possibly happen to Holst? He's indestructible.
True, but what would he think if I let you get hurt when I could have saved you? Not on my watch, pal.
Ha! Good point. He'd kill you.
It's a real concern. I may be the renowned king of grappling, but I still wouldn't want to take on Holst.
He'd tear you to pieces. But if you did get killed trying to protect me, Holst would be crushed. Not as crushed as if something happened to me, but still, he'd be broken up about it.
Maybe so. But in that case, at least he wouldn't think I'd messed up. As much as I believe in Holst, he also believes in me. Because of that, I won't ever let him down. And on that note, even if you think I'm in over my head, don't worry about it. I'd like for you to believe in me too.
I can't stop worrying about you on command. That's not how worrying works.
Fair. But I do what I do because I want to. If it lands me beneath the dirt sooner than later, well, save your tears for my funeral.
Ugh, I hate when people talk about death like it's no big deal. Try to keep your stupid heart beating, all right?
Not bad at all, if I do say so myself.
I see needles and thread. What has you engaging in the textile arts, Leonie?
Patching up a hole in my equipment bag. Take a look. What do you think?
If your objective is merely to block up the hole, then I believe you've performed quite adequate work.
I'm not gonna throw away something I can still use. I can't afford to be wasteful.
Yes, but your bag is less bag and more a collection of dirty, smelly patches.
Smelly, huh? I don't smell anything.
That aside, don't you have an allowance from your house to make purchases?
No, nothing. Worse than that, actually. I'm in debt. I could only afford the Officers' Academy because everyone in my village donated. It's not just that. In the Alliance, you have to pay the nobles as well in order to secure recommendations. Commoners can only get an education by borrowing money. It's pretty stupid. Not sure what makes the nobles think they've got the right to... Oh, sorry, Linhart. Forgot you're a noble.
If one is in a family that bears a crest, then you're going to stand atop the social pecking order. I'd raise the topic with the goddess. She handed out crests to the nobles, after all.
Just handed them out, huh? You make it sound pretty casual.
By the way, I have a weapon to recommend. It should suit a commoner such as yourself.
That so? I just told you I don't have a lot of money.
You're not going to buy it from a merchant. If you find it, you can keep it for free.
Now you've got my attention.
There's a legend I read recently about Saint Indek, one of the 4 saints of the Church of Seros.
Uh-huh. Keep talking.
Sorry. Suddenly very sleepy. Nap time calls.
Hey, come on! Wake up! You can't just doze off in the middle of a story.
Long story short, there's a holy weapon hidden in Lake Tutates that you can use even without a crest.
Lake Tutates? Right. Let's go, Professor. What's with that look? Don't you want to help your lovely students? Yeah, me and Linhart. Aren't we just the cutest?
Leave me be. I'm off to nap.
We'll never find it unless you're there. If you're really that tired, we'll just have to carry you. We'll bring more people. We'll take turns. Come on, Professor. You're coming, right? All right, let's go find this thing. Linhart, wake up. We've reached Lake Tutates.
Huh? What? Oh, yes. So we have.
A temple on a lake, huh? Looks fancy. And that's a cute, guard dog?
Guard dog? Is it I to whom you are referring?
Whoa, a magic beast! And it talks.
Nuisance. You weaklings should turn tail and run.
Hi. We're actually, looking for something?
I know well what it is that you desire. If you want it, you must first complete my trial.
Of course we do. This is as awful as I expected it would be. Perhaps we could go home now?
Are you kidding? It's just a little fog. Come on, let's go talk to Mr. Magic Beast.
Could you be the incarnation of Sothis? Interesting. Let's test your mettle.
It's time. Hey, Mr. Magic Beast. If we defeat you, will you grant our wish?
Indeed I will.
Great. I may not have a crest, but I'll give it my all.
You are an interesting young girl. I accept your challenge.
No! I'll keep pushing myself.
Too easy.
Not there yet.
Stronger the better.
You must prove yourself.
I got cocky.
You did well. The trial ends here. What sublime children of men. Go ahead. Name your desire.
So, we heard you're giving away free weapons?
Do be quiet, Leone. Somewhere in this temple is said to rest the holy bow of Saint Indek. It is called the Inexhaustible. Could you find it in your heart to let my friend here have it?
You have shown might deserving of my sacred bow. I will grant your wish.
Yes! Thanks, Mr. Magic Beast.
Aren't you happy, Leone? That's quite a bow, and it was completely free.
I'll say, I've never seen anything like it. But is it really okay for me to take this?
I would say so, wouldn't you? After all, you went through an awful lot to get it.
I know, but... Professor, maybe you should hold on to it for me. At least for a while. It's not a weapon just anyone can use. I can see that. I want to be more confident in my strength before I really call it my own. Even holding it right now makes me feel unworthy. I'd really appreciate you looking after it for me. Thanks, Professor. And everyone else who helped, too. I'm really grateful. Linhart, I'm sorry I forced you to come along. But seeing such a kind-hearted person like you, well, let's just say my opinion of the nobility's shifted a bit.
I'm not sure I completely understand, Leone, but it sounds like praise, so I will take it as such.
Now, let's get back to work. I need all the training I can get.
She already possesses the strength to use that bow. She went through the trouble of fighting a saint so she could claim that weapon as her own. Or maybe you'd call it a saintly beast. In any case. Oh, and please do let me use that bow. It's not exactly a hero's relic, but it is still rather fascinating, isn't it? I would love to learn to what extent the bow's connection to the crest influences the weapon, and perhaps even... Oh, it's been too much of a day, hasn't it? I'm feeling tired, so let's talk about this later. Good night.
Hello, Professor. What brings you here? Fancy a bit of fishing? Are you looking for help with something? Ah, no. Your eyes tell a different story. You know, I can hardly go fishing without thinking of old Gerald. He and I would just sit here, casting our lines again and again. I'm no better at it now than I was then. Not a single nibble. Just like your father. You know all the tricks of the fisherman's trade. I was hopeless at it, but he was a master. In the time it took me to catch one fish, he could fill his basket to the brim. You know, talking to you, I'm feeling very nostalgic. Why don't you join me? We can trade some stories about the old man. We spoke before about how Gerald never seemed to age, right? Once, when he was drunk, he let the secret slip. He said he'd had an infusion of crest-bearing blood, and it had greatly extended his life. Well, we'd both been drinking. I figured he was joking, so I just laughed it off. Then I asked him his age. He said he'd stopped counting after he hit 100. And he was telling the truth. In those 20 years he was away, he didn't age a bit. An incredible person, to be sure. And I probably don't know the half of it. Actually, I'd like to ask you something about Gerald, if you don't mind. When Gerald was away from the monastery, what was he like? In other words, he was exactly the same. When he was with the knights, he always found time to go fishing. He was hooked on it, you might say. He'd say there was no greater pleasure in life than sinking his teeth into a fish he'd caught and washing it down with a drink. I have to say, right now, fishing with you, it really takes me back. This feels just like the good old days, when Gerald was sitting alongside me.
Bernadetta, knock it off. How long are you gonna keep this up?
I can't have them find me. Time for a tactical withdrawal.
Wait up, would you? Running away every time you see me is just going to wear us both out. If you've got something to say, say it already. You've been shadowing me for ages. Think how I feel. You don't show up for war council when I'm there. Do you even know what's going on in the world?
I know, but I just can't, okay? I can't be around you, Yuri. It's just not doable. I know what my father did to you. It's all just too overwhelming. I thought you died.
You thought I had. But I hadn't. I was halfway to my grave, but I survived.
Halfway? Then that means the half of you that survived is gonna seek revenge on me!
I was half dead, sure, but that really meant I was able to get out with my life. If I was to seek revenge, it would be on the Count, not you. When I'm looking to make things even, it's all or nothing. You wouldn't be standing here talking to me right now if I targeted you.
If not here, then where would I be? At the bottom of a ravine?
I wouldn't push you off a cliffside.
Maybe you'll tie me to a big rock and drop me in the ocean. Is that it? You're gonna turn me into fish food. I knew it!
What are you going on about?
Mercy! If it has to be a watery grave, please just drop me in icy water so I freeze instead of drown!
Kid's got issues. Well, I guess I'd better tell her everything.
That was some good sleep. How nice it is to enjoy the sunrise all by my...
Good. You're finally awake.
Ah! Who's that? Oh no, I'm falling. Oh no, I'm emoting! Calm.
Wait! No! That hurt.
You're telling me? Do you normally start your day by startling people out of trees?
Not normally, no. Sorry, but I couldn't wait.
Couldn't wait? It's so early. You must have stayed up all night.
Huh, I suppose I did. How unusual. That's what happens when you get carried away with research. Then I remembered what we talked about, so I've been waiting here for you to wake up.
Well, here I am, wide awake. How can I help you?
I found an interesting document about Saint Timotheus. There are some fascinating things down in that place you and your buddies call home.
Timotheus? That's...
The saint whose major crest you bear. His bloodline was believed to have died out 1,000 years ago. It's theorized that your crest and the crest of Lamine have similar powers. Oh, Lamine was one of the 10 elites. Here's the best part. Turns out this Timotheus guy had the power to summon beasts.
I'm listening.
Take a look at this passage. The writing's kind of antiquated, but at least it's legible.
Saint Timotheus could converse fluently with birds and land-born beasts, and he considered these creatures his friends. He sometimes rode over hills atop an obliging deer, or called wolves to encircle him in battle. His sigh, inflected with the power of the Nightbringer's star, was immensely sonorous.
Nice recitation. So, there you go.
That's just how people from my village write.
Is that so? Huh. Anyway, this obviously reminded me of you and your situation. You clearly have this same astral power, but to an excessive degree. And for some reason, it only manifests for you when you sigh.
Does that mean you can fix it?
Oh goodness, no. Or I should say, it's unlikely. There's next to no documentation about this stuff. And I don't know nearly enough about the other crests either. And Timotheus, again, nothing to go on. It's near impossible to unravel, so don't get your hopes up.
You know me. I'm good at keeping my expectations nice and low.
In response to the Alliance Army's plea, Judith has agreed to provide soldiers. To meet up with reinforcements, the Alliance Army sets out for Aelel, the Valley of Torment. Unbeknownst to Claude, something else awaits them there.
Why is it so hot? I'm getting all sweaty.
Don't be a wimp. Anything's worth it for more food supplies.
Move over, Raphael. Somehow you make the heat even worse.
Let's stay calm, everyone. Once we meet up with Judith's soldiers, we can go right back home.
Oh, I finally remembered. The legend goes that this valley was born from the wrath of the goddess. They say a pillar of light poured from the heavens and completely burned away the forest that used to be here.
So you're telling me the goddess, who is supposed to be benevolent, burned a forest to a crisp? Typical.
That's what the legend would have us believe, but it's not recorded in any of the scriptures.
Either it's completely made up, or the goddess is some kind of monster.
The time for idle chatter is over, Claude. Look over there.
Ah, has someone come to greet us?
That banner does not bear the Daphnel crest.
If memory serves, that's the crest of House Rowe, formerly Lords of the Kingdom. They joined the Empire side without hesitation during the coup. And now here they are, lying in wait for us.
Damn. I thought we had disposed of all the spies.
House Rowe is mediocre and vulgar, but I hear their knights are powerful.
What about the Daphnel soldiers? You don't think...
Judith will be fine. It would take a lot more than that to take her down. Everyone, prepare for battle. I leave the command in your capable hands, my friend.
The Valley of Torment. Perhaps a good place to finish off my life as a knight. Only if that puny force of children is able to kill me, of course.
So, their general must be that stubborn-looking old man. He looks like he wouldn't even forgive a sobbing child. It's good we came armed for the occasion. Care to find Judith? Flames are flaring everywhere and burning people where they stand. Aelel's a terrible place. Everyone, if you don't want to get burned to a crisp, watch your step.
All is going to plan.
I assume a stray arrow finished it. That certainly isn't satisfying.
No time for pity.
Your end has come!
Be at peace.
The crest of flames! Ha! Quite full of themselves, aren't they?
Just as I thought. The Professor's army. But it's too late to back out now. In Lenato's place, I have to do my duty.
A fitting outcome. Now my schemes will really pack a punch.
I will not die yet.
What's this? You're fresh out of luck.
Forgive me. But as Lenato's son, I have a duty. You want to spare me? Why? I'll do it. I'll join your side. Let me fight for you.
Oh, old Gwendol is here, and he doesn't look to be an ally.
Oh, the hero of Daphnel is here. I'll expect more from her than the young ones. So, you've chosen to turn your blade against the Count. Never thought I'd see the day.
And yet you are seeing it, aren't you? Say what you will. I know your true feelings for me. Sure, you watched my back by order of the Count. But you care too. You were the only one who treated me as an equal.
That is all in the past. This is no time for misplaced sentimentality. I must do what I came here to do. Does a whelp like you really expect to kill me? I am Gwendol, the Grey Lion, a knight by the hand of Count Rowe. Do your worst! So I have found a place to die. Young ones, I thank you.
That old man must have been struggling with the position he found himself in. It's time to gather ourselves and pull back our troops.
To think we'd get into a scrap here, of all places. We're lucky we all made it out alive. Don't worry about it. In this day and age, it's a miracle I've been unscathed this long. Anyway, long time no see, Professor. Are you still watching this boy's back?
Can you quit calling me a boy in front of everyone? I'm the leader of the Alliance now. It's not proper.
Not proper, is it? Says the leader who has neglected Alliance territory for years. If you're really the master tactician, you should go back to working quietly at whatever little desk you do your planning on.
Don't call me that either. Who even came up with that nickname?
It's a perfect title for a boy who loves crafty schemes as much as you do. You should be grateful to the Professor. On your own, you'd look like a scoundrel of a leader.
Cloud's usually so flippant, but even he gets overwhelmed when Judith is around.
As expected from the leader of the prestigious House Daphnel, her dignity is beyond compare, even if she is no longer one of the 5 great lords. The 5 most influential lords of the Leicester Alliance. They hold the voting rights at the Round Table conferences. House Daphne used to be included among their ranks, but division from within has hastened their decline. Their vote has since been passed to the emerging Margrave Edmund.
Thanks for the exposition, Gloucester boy.
Boy? I will not.
Now to business. There were some unexpected interruptions, but I've brought soldiers and supplies as promised.
Thanks, Judith. I'll gladly take them off your hands.
Hold your horses, boy. You're misunderstanding. These soldiers are precious to me. I made them what they are. I'm not about to loan them out to someone.
No? Then why did you come here?
What I'm saying is that I'll be joining your army. You're going to fight the Empire with the Knights of Seros, right? Fight for Lady Rhea? Not without me.
That's admirable and all, but we still don't know for sure if Rhea is in the...
Oh, she's there. A witness saw Lady Rhea being dragged off by the Imperial Army after the battle 5 years ago.
Are you sure?
One of my own saw it happen. I'm certain.
So we were right in our decision to fight against the Empire.
But you're the leader of House Daphne. Is it okay for you to leave your territory unattended?
And what about you? Is it okay for you to leave the Regan territory unattended?
I've left it in the hands of a reliable retainer and...
And I've asked that retainer to watch over Daphne territory as well.
Wait. You just up and decided to get my retainer to do that without even asking me? No respect, this one.
Oh, you haven't met him yet, Professor? His name is Nardell. He strikes me as a really special individual. And he's quite handsome, too.
So that's your definition of handsome?
No objections, then. Good. That settles it. House Daphne is now yours to command.
I'm sure you'd come along even if I refused. So be it. We'll be counting on you, Judith. With Judith joining our forces, we've secured some more troops and supplies, albeit not many.
I'm sorry it couldn't be more.
No, it's enough for the time being. We'll use them to secure even more troops and supplies. The key to my plan is Count Gloucester, the leader of the pro-Empire faction in the Alliance.
You intend to sway my father to join the other side?
If Count Gloucester were to switch to the other side, that would basically unify the Alliance. Then we could utilize our full military force in the fight against the Empire.
You don't mean to ask me to persuade him, do you? That would be quite impossible.
I don't plan on it. We'll just take his concerns out of the equation. The Aramid River flows along the border between Gloucester territory and the Empire, right? Of all the bridges that cross it, the Great Bridge of Murden is the only one near Gloucester territory large enough for an army. Currently, the Imperial Army occupies it.
So, if we were to capture the bridge...
Count Gloucester would be freed from the threat of the Empire, thanks to us.
But we have to pass through Gloucester territory to reach the Great Bridge of Murden, do we not?
Yes, and if we attempted it, naturally he would try to stop us.
I am sorry, but I must ask. Surely you do not plan to engage in combat with my father?
Don't worry. I want him as a future ally. What good would it do to waste both of our forces fighting? Who do you think you're talking to, Teach? Preparations are in the works even now.
So the Master Tactician is finally going to show us his true power. I'm looking forward to it.
I'll do my best to live up to that name by making my scheme as impressive as possible.